we go. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBA Welterweight Championship of the World. Introducing to you first on my right is the challenger fighting out of the blue corner. He is wearing black trunks with white trim and hailing from Atlanta, Georgia. He weighed in at a trim and ready 146 1/4 pounds. His hard-hitting record stands at 25 wins, 2 losses, with 23 wins coming by way of knockout. He is ranked the WBA number 11 welterweight contender. Please welcome the challenger, introducing Sam Bam Bam Garr. And his opponent across the ring, the defending champion. On my left, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white trunks with gold trim. He hails from Pittsburgh, California. He weighed in at the welterweight limit of 147 pounds even, with a record of 23 wins, 3 losses. He has 18 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight he is making the second defense of his title. Please welcome the WBA welterweight champion of the world, known as the Mighty Quinn, introducing James Page. Once again, a referee in charge, Steve Smoger, now to give instructions. 12 rounds of boxing schedule.
James. All right, gentlemen, you were given your instructions at the weigh-in. I want you to obey my commands at all times, respect the bell at all times, and above all, protect yourself at all times. Touch up, touch up, touch. Thank you.
James Page, also making his debut at the Garden, looking to make an impression, stamp himself as one of the welterweights who belong with the better-known welterweights, De La Hoya and Trinidad.
Somebody's going to make a lot of money in the welterweight division in the next few years, and Page wants his share of it. So it's Page in the white trunks and Sam Bam Bam Garr in the black trunks. About the best that can be said for Garr in terms of previous opposition is that he sparred a good deal in the gym with Vernon Forrest. Vernon Forrest, a rising force. And we may also see down the road with some of the bigger name fighters mentioned here.
Garr started the round with a left jab right to the belly. And that's what you want to do. Establish, hey, I'm not afraid of you. I'm going to your body.
Garr saying to us yesterday, hey, I'm not overwhelmingly impressed with Page. Guys like Pestraev and Lopez stood in front of him and let him do damage. I won't do that. Right hand lands for Page as he wings that shot.
Page settles down to land one hard shot, and it seems that Garr moves out of the way before he gets set. Good.
Garr leaping forward with left hook leads. Page throws a right cross lead and lands it flush on the face of Garr.
One thing about jabbing a puncher, you don't want to overcommit yourself by going double. It allows you to step into his way out.
The good quick left hook there by Page stunned Garr.
You want to take one jab at a time.
Garr's left hook partially blocked by Page's right glove.
Garr's had one taste of the power of Page, and let me tell you, he does not like it.
He's getting back on his heels a little bit after having felt that left hook shiver that Page gave him. Now there's a right cross that lands for Garr, and he leaps in to fire that left hook again.
You may notice Page blinking his eyes all the time. It's not necessarily because he gets hit. It's a nervous tick. It used to be called Blinky by his friends.
And it threw Page off a little, Garr off a little bit because he thought he was hurt by blinking, and he stepped in too soon and caught some of that power.
I wonder if other Page opponents have had the same experience. Page opened a lot of eyes with his performance against Jose Luis Lopez, who up to that moment was regarded by many as the potential equal of the Cuartes, De La Hoyas, and Trinidad.
Not a bad round for Sam Garr, who has campaigned primarily as a junior middleweight and seems comfortable at welterweight.
Spit bucket right there. Spit that out.
Gotta go down.
You're trying too hard to knock him out. You're trying too hard to knock him out. So
Just a short time ago,
look for that right hand. You know how
instructions in Evander Holyfield's dressing room.
Go the right hand to the body.
Good evening, Evander. As you know, I'm the referee, Arthur McCanty Jr. Don, I'm going to make it short and sweet. You've been here before. It's your show. It's not mine. I just expect a good, clean fight. Just listen to my commands, and we'll have a great show. Any questions? No questions from you, Don. Nope. Any questions from you, champ? Lots of luck. God bless. Lots of luck.
The visible continuum of boxing in New York State. Arthur McCanty Jr., the referee for the big fight tonight. 28 years, 5 days ago, it was his father who handled Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier.
Ooh, vicious right to the body by Page.
And a left hook upstairs. Garr trying to force himself to stay aggressive. He came out confidently and fought assertively during the first minute of round one. But since, as George pointed out, he's tasted Page's power, he's been a little bit more tentative.
When you're fighting a guy like Page, you got to jab him to the chest, go to the body, and step away at all times, keeping your defense up as he just did that time. Don't step too far away. You get caught by the wild hook.
Garr lands a left hook, knocking Page off balance, and gets confident enough to fire another left hook.
You want to step back and not lean back. And that's what Garr is doing, leaning back just a little. You want to step your whole body back.
Now Garr starting to try combinations. Previously, he was one punch at a time. Last couple of efforts have produced two-punch combinations. And there's another one, and he lands the right cross. And Page momentarily stunned by that.
Page seems to be looking for the knockout too quickly, George. He's throwing almost all hard punches, and as he wings these punches, he's leaving himself open, like right there.
I think it's one of those things that's all he knows how to do. But I would do something else if only I knew.
Garr starting to get just a tiny bit lazy with his jab. He needs to avoid that, or he's going to find a Page right hand sizzling over the top of it.
And he's doing a good job of using the ring. He steps and circles. Keep the circle going. You don't want to go backwards. It's a small ring.
There's the Page right cross, followed by a left hook, and it backs Garr up again.
Take no punch. Come on. Protect yourself. Let him out, Sam. Let him out.
Body shots by James Page as round two comes to a close. Showcase for Page against little-known Sam Bam Bam Garr. Garr hoping to pull a huge upset and make a name for himself. Page in the white, Garr in the black.
Garr is starting to mix it up a little bit. I'll hit you. Once you hit me, I'm hitting you back. And those power punches in the body will not allow him to do that.
And earlier you heard the instructions from Arthur McCanty Jr. in Evander Holyfield's dressing room. Here's what happened moments later in Lennox Lewis country.
I expect a nice, clean fight. When I say break, just listen to my commands. Now, Emmanuel, if something happens where he goes down and it's 2:59 and the bell rings, don't jump into the ring. Okay? Let me finish, let him get up and walk himself back to the corner. Any problem with that? No. Now, when you hear this bang, bang, that's a 5-second warning for me. I know you're aware of that. Some guys stop punching when they hear that, thinking it's the bell. Okay? Lots of luck, champ. Any questions?
I have one question. It's about Holyfield's strength and his cup.
Yes, sir.
Okay, he's won his cup exceptionally high.
I'll look at it when he comes into the ring. I will look at it. Okay? I know you're champions, and it's going to be a good, clean fight, and we're going to have a great night. Okay? Lots of luck again.
Now, George, why would Mercanti talk to Lewis about getting knocked down? We didn't hear him say anything about getting knocked down to Holyfield.
He's definitely not a chip off the old block tonight. I don't think his dad would have done one and not do the other.
And of course, keep in mind when you hear Emmanuel Stewart complaining in advance about a possibly high cup for Evander Holyfield, that Stewart trained Holyfield to his victory over Riddick Bowe in the second of their 3 fights and knows Evander very well. So he may know that if the referee says something to Holyfield about his cup, it could get into Evander's head.
But and then too, you go to the body. If that cup is all the way up your up to your ribs, the ref shouldn't be calling low blows. So that's a defense, and I think it was real wise of Emmanuel Stewart to mention it.
Planting the seed. Sam Garr had a pretty good second round according to PunchStat numbers, outlanding James Page 25 punches to 15 in round number 2. So let's see if Garr's confidence is growing now as we come back to round 3. Stepping in with the left hook. He's been able to do that all night, and he's been able to land that left hook behind Page's right glove.
Garr's doing fine as long as he keeps his feet moving. Once you start moving just the upper part of his body and not his feet, then he's going to have trouble.
That'll be ruled a slip. Referee Steve Smoker. And again, Garr beating Page to the punch with the left hook lead.
You know, once he throws a hard shot or two, Garr just stands there and assesses damage, and that's when he can get hurt himself.
Only for a period of time in the second round did he throw combinations. For the most part, it's one punch at a time, and you get the feeling he'd do a lot better if he could discipline himself to throw 3-punch combinations. There he came back with the left hook to the body, but opened himself up with the right hand by Page. Incidentally, like another welterweight champion named De La Hoya, is a natural southpaw. Brushes his teeth with the left hand, writes with the left hand. But when he first went to a boxing gym, felt more comfortable standing in the conventional stance, putting his stronger hand out front, and he's been that way ever since.
Can you believe this guy, Page, sitting in a jail cell, watching some of his guys that he knew he was competitive with, winning titles, and deciding, hey, I can do this, get out of jail, and he's champ of the world.
Thanks, Louis.
Put that water on the floor, please. Reach across.
That's the water guy.
Bucket out of the way, please. Like that. Easy.
Get that water out.
Sam,
I want you to step in with the jab. If you're missing with the jab, go with a body shot. Keep punching. You understand? Keep punching. Don't let go wild. You throw it, and you still going roundhouse. You still going roundhouse. Get inside. Throw them punches inside. Come on. Use your jab. Come on, man. Come on.
Round 4, scheduled 12. Obscure challenger Sam Garr giving a pretty good account of himself so far against James Page. Harold Letterman, how'd you score through the first 3?
Jim, I got it 3-0, 30-27, James Page. Jim, this guy is a real big welterweight. And I'll tell you something, I haven't seen a fighter that punches so hard that when he misses, he does a 360 in a long time. I mean, that's how hard he's throwing punches. It's incredible. But I tell you, he's got good, good offensive skills. He just stays on top of Garr all the time. Won't let him get off the hook. And, I think he's going to take it back one of these shots. I mean, just stays right on top.
I think it's 2-1, but it is Page's fight to win. But this is a round building, and he's throwing too many roundhouse punches, according to his own trainer.
I agree. He does well when he comes straight up the middle with sharp, straight punches. He gives Garr opportunities when he wings his shots from the outside.
Let him out, Sam. Let him out. That's good.
Now Garr beginning to tie Page up as Page advances. And given the number of short fights on Garr's resume, it'll be interesting to see if he's conditioned.
Oh, he might have wobbled Page with that right hand. Page's left foot lifted off the canvas when he hit him with that big right hand from outside. And now Page is holding on. I wonder if Garr understands that he may have Page hurt. Now when he blinks his eyes, you don't know if he's hurt, George.
That's right. But I've got this funny feeling about Page that once you hurt him, that's the kind of fight he wants to be in. The old saying with Joe Frazier, you hurt him, he likes it.
Page
he misses him, he gets upset.
Excuse me, George. Page was floored early by Jose Luis Lopez and came back to win the fight.
He was really hurt, as Larry said earlier, that he was hurt.
The right punch, the right hand punch.
Yeah. Page got hurt. But at this point, he doesn't want to give Garr too much respect.
Yeah,
if he takes courage, he'll run over him.
And Garr thinks he found something as he throws another sneak right hand over those leaping lefts.
You see, his corner told him to stop leaping with those shots, and he started to shorten them up, and that's where he got into trouble. You want to let this guy alone. Let him get out there and win and fight his own fight. Page, let him do what he want to do.
Garr landing the right, even though he throws one punch at a time and kind of leaps in behind a loaded shot. Page often so offensive-minded that he leaves himself open for Garr. Evander Holyfield singing in his dressing room as he prepares for the big fight. Identified on the cover of a recent magazine with a long profile article, God's champion, Evander Holyfield.
He seems to be working himself up into what some religious people would call an ecstatic state.
Let me tell you, in church, there are two kinds of singers. The ones you put in the choir and the one you put way in the back.
Yeah.
Holyfield is the one you put way in the back.
Expert information from the preacher. In round 4, by CompuBox numbers, Sam Garr landed 18 of 27 power shots. And here again, he leaps past Page's right glove and lands the left hook. Now Page with a straight right hand.
Hey, don't punch, don't punch. Turn around, turn around.
Now Garr's starting to stand his ground and counterpunch.
And what can Page do to stop Garr's growing confidence against him, George?
Well, his corner pulled him off, as I said earlier. He had this fight in control. He was missing a lot, but he was controlling things. He put his hands up a little bit and started throwing short punches, gave this guy some confidence. Go back to the first and second rounds, and it doesn't matter how much you miss. Evidently, you believe you're in shape, so go for it.
Right-left combination by Sam Garr. Page concentrating to the body early in the round. Garr comes back with a body combination of his own. Garr with a little smile on his face that seems to say, I sense an opportunity here that nobody thought I would have.
He's the better boxer, that's what it is. And it's turning into a boxing match.
So now Page seems in this round to be bent on trying to make it a slugging contest again.
And he's better at this point. Keep it slugfast. You notice when he just tips punches in a little bit at a time, one over and over, he's effective. Maybe you should just pick up the pace a little bit and just keep a punch in this guy's face. If Page does that, it's better than a knockdown.
Page lands the heavier shots, but when he takes a little bit off his fastball, he lands in combination. This has been a good round for James Page, as he seems for the moment to have reestablished his initiative, but there's another one of those left hooks by Garr, and Page backs up onto the ropes.
Another quick lead right hand by Garr.
But Garr not throwing nearly as many punches this round as has been the case before. You wonder if he's trying to get a little breather, take the second half of the round off to give himself a bit of a rest, George.
He's a boxer. He's thinking.
Water. All right, stand up. Elbows down. I got it. Hold this. Release it. Hold it. Put your head out. You are boxing this boy. Breathe deep. Let it out slow. You hear what I said? Yeah. You out boxing, okay? You in great shape now.
Give it to me. Take a deep breath. Come on. Don't fall in with your jab, man. Step with it. Okay? And when you fall, y'all bounce. Come on, whistle, baby. Come on.
Round 6, Page. Now you got to fight
like you fought that last round. Now. All right? Okay? Don't fall. Step. Come on, man. Come on.
Page is finding out what a lot of new or young champions find out, as we said earlier about Vargas. You go out there, you look at the guy's record. It's a thoroughbred against a $2,500 claimer on the record, and the $2,500 claimer comes out there and looks like a $50,000 handicap horse.
I'm in Madison Square Garden. This is my chance.
In round 5, though, Page was able to get back on target, landing 30 of 53 punches by CompuBox numbers. His best round since early in the fight.
Page seems to do better when he picks up both feet and throw punches. When he settle down trying to throw one at a time, he misses a lot. Should put a little skip into his punch, to his feet. Skip a little bit. Go forward, skip it.
Four-punch combination by Garr. First time in a while that he's tried to put punches together.
See, if you skip forward to meet a guy, don't stop skipping and throwing shots. Get right up and keep skipping.
Takes energy.
You get up close to him, throw your punches.
Watch your head coming in, fellas.
Sense of anticipation growing in the building now. Within an hour of the main event, the heavyweight unification battle between Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis. James Page has never had a knockdown past, or a knockout, I should say, past the 6th round. So the book on this is, if Garr can make it into the 7th, he might have a chance to go the distance with Page. But now there's blood over Garr's left eye, and Page begins to land some of his heaviest shots of the bout. And more it looks as though Sam Garr has run out of gas.
You know what happened? Page was able to throw a 1-2-3 combination. Once you put that left hook behind that right hand, things will get better and better.
Little blood on the left eyelid of Garr.
Not a lot of blood, just a trickle. We'll check between rounds to see what Cutman Tommy Parks has to say about Garr's left eye. You see the derisive smile that Garr flashes for Page as we reach the midpoint of the bout.
All right, now here.
Jimmy,
Let me see what we got.
accidental headbutt on the cut on Sam Garr's left eye. Accidental
Had the
headbutt.
mouthpiece, somebody? I got it. Breathe, Sam. Breathe deep, breathe deep. Sam, you know how to move your head, all right? I need you moving that head, baby. Okay? You need to bend them knees to work the body. Okay? Breathe deep. Breathe deep.
Whether Garr got tired or whether Page zeroed in, the result is the same. Page's best round landed some good straight punches instead of throwing all roundhouse punches. Right there, right through with the shoulder. Classic stuff. And as we show you these replays, you may have heard that referee Steve Smoger said that the cut over Garr's eye was caused by an accidental headbutt.
You know, the corner didn't work much on that eye at all.
No, they touched it with gauze and put a little salve on it, and that was it.
They have no idea what they're doing.
Well, it's amateur hour then in the corner. They didn't come up for the big show, ready, hoping to make some news for their unheard of fighter.
Page is a reminder of fighters like Jimmy Ellis, Charlie Shipes. Emma Griffith would go to the Bay Area and run into some of the toughest opponents of his career.
Blood pouring from the nose now of Garr. That was not a headbutt. That was just some good hard punching.
So what you're saying is that the Bay Area of California has produced some good fighters over the years.
That's true, but little known. They would come up to Madison Square Garden and give some good shows for themselves.
Well, and you mentioned Page's having run afoul of the law a couple times. Early on, he was in a youth detention center. And then later on, after credit card fraud charges, spent a little time in a work release program at San Quentin. And it was during those two stints that he recommitted himself to boxing after having left the sport as an amateur at 16. And as George said, part of the stimulus was seeing some guys he had fought against as amateurs competing as professionals on television, notably Emmett Linton.
Apparently he was a pretty well-known amateur in his younger days, and even in his early days as a pro, he had some good fights. Lost to Stevie Johnson, one of the current lightweight belt holders, but he never really dedicated himself, as you said, Jim, until he saw the dark side of life in prison and thought he'd better get himself in gear and use his talent in a positive way.
George, Page is going back to one punch at a time. Now, all of this came about the hurting and the taking the power by the 1, 2, 3. If he can only get back to those combinations, he can get re-established and maybe even get a knockout.
As for Garr, with a record of 23-2 or 25-2 and 23 knockouts, he's probably not accustomed to tasting his own blood.
Now, this is a new day for him, but he's brave.
And he's still able to pot shot Page with those right-hand leads as Page comes in. Garr landing 3 straight right-hand leads cleanly as Page looks for further opportunities to land the big power punch. And you're exactly right, George. One punch at a time doesn't work nearly as well as the combinations did. There's a combination by Sam Garr. Bravery on display for the unknown fighter from Stone Mountain, Georgia.
See? What was your round? You take this kid, baby.
And in Lennox Lewis's dressing room, slightly different scene than was the case down the hall in Holyfield scene. The cheering you hear in the auditorium because this picture appears on the giant screen mounted above the ring. We may have mentioned to you, I'm sure James Brown has said it, thousands of English fight fans who purchased tickets months ago, having made the trip across the Atlantic to be here. And a shot of Keith Richards in the audience brings the English crowd even further to life.
Yeah, he's sticking and moving. That's exactly what I want. He starts throwing big shots to go right to his body.
This is unbelievable, George. They're not touching that cut. What is going on?
Larry said it was amateur hour.
That man, Tommy Parks, has been around a little bit. I wonder if he's not looking carefully enough to see the potential damage there.
Sometimes these guys have been around a long time, but they don't know how to work cuts. So sometimes they just don't do anything.
Harold, how do you have it through 7?
Jim, 6-1, 69-64, James Parks. Jim, I tell you, I've got him winning on clean punching and effective aggressiveness. When Smolder calls an accidental headbutt, Jim, it means that we go to the scorecards if the fight is stopped because of that, you know, that cut over the left eye. We would go to the scorecards, it wouldn't be a PKO.
Any chance that they would not be working the cut because they want the fight to be stopped?
No, I don't think so, because Garr is doing a good job of defending himself. Throws a jab and every now and then leaps in with a left hook, so there's a chance that anything could happen.
Well, he ran out of gas demonstrably in the 6th round, but came back in the 7th, particularly at the end, and now is bouncing on his feet in the 8th.
He's got a second win. This is the kind of fighter you want to keep him fresh, clean up the cuts so he can go back.
Page trying to settle matters with one big 1-2. Another instance where it appears Page might be thinking knockout a little too much, not satisfied just to punch the man and pile up points.
You hear the Brits in the background starting to warm up for the main event.
And there are a lot of fight fans in this building who are looking around now and recognizing for the first time that Evander Holyfield may not have a home court advantage in Madison Square Garden tonight.
I asked some English writer friends of mine about the fans coming here, and they said, well, the difference between this time and other occasions is that they actually think their man can win.
Vicious right-hand body shot by Page has put Garr in trouble now in the closing 45 seconds of round 8. Page landed a lot of punches to the head that didn't do nearly as much damage, George, as that one right-hand shot to the ribcage.
Hot shot time now.
Garr's mouthpiece almost comes out. Page recognizes the possibility, lands another combination, and Garr hoping that the bell will sound. Let's go to reporter Nick Charles. What's up, Nick?
Well, Jim, there's a bone of contention going on over the size of the ring. We measured it at 18 feet. The Lewis camp was clearly upset to discover it was that small. There's a contract, we were told by the Lewis people, for claiming the ring should be 20 feet. And it isn't. It's 18. Don Turner in Evander Holyfield's camp, the trainer for Holyfield, said, obviously they're worried. They want their man to run. So what else can they worry about? They're worried about his cup. They're worried about the ring right now. But New York officials said it is certainly legal. The parameters of the ring can be anywhere from 18 square to 22. They're 18, so they fit within the rules. But it's clearly upsetting the Lewis camp.
One thing's for certain, Nick. The fans at ringside are jammed in like sardines. This thing ain't getting any bigger tonight.
Well, in fact, I think one of the reasons it's smaller is to get a couple of extra rows in there.
Almost no doubt about it when you consider the round card girls don't have seats, the judges don't have seats, the kinds of people who would normally be given a chance to sit near the ring and watch the card can't do so tonight. Those seats have all been sold.
At $1,500 a copy.
Between rounds break, extending a few seconds past a minute here. Sam Garr getting a few extra precious seconds to recover, but he looks wobbly as he comes out to start the round, George.
A bad corner decision. This guy's not doing well. He put up the best fight he's had tonight, and you have to pick him up off the stool to send him out as though he's a great puncher like Archie Moore or someone.
You're saying because he's a boxer and he took a beating in the last round, that they should have thrown in the towel?
If he's a big puncher and has a chance of coming back like some of the great fighters, Archie Moore, you lift him up, you bring him back. Joe Louis, this guy is depending on combinations of hitting and running.
And he would appear to have no logical chance to win a decision at this point. So George is suggesting that Sam Garr has been sent out as cannon fodder in round 9.
Well, I think he's earned a chance to go as far as he can go, as he wants to go.
Well, this fighter can come back against a lesser opponent and get his confidence again if you manage him right.
Well,
I the corner lift him up. That's bad.
You can see from the behavior of referee Steve Smoger that Garr is going to taste the canvas before he'll get out, and he lands a right cross that stops Page in his tracks, but Page comes right back with a vicious left hook. It's Page's kind of fight now, giving and taking. His thunder a lot louder than Garr's.
Page told us he wanted to look beautiful in Madison Square Garden. I can't say he looks beautiful, but he does look very strong, very tough, and a winner.
Garr fighting on nothing but heart now.
Has the look of a beaten fighter. Page kind of collecting his breath and getting ready to throw combinations, trying to finish his man. Garr, well aware of what's going on there. He's a bright young man. We enjoyed talking to him yesterday. And when you look at the possible fatigue factor for Garr, oh, and another right cross across the top. Great fighter.
I think it takes more out of him to throw those right crosses at this point than it does
if he lands on Page. Yeah.
Well, the difference between classes of fighters in some measure certainly has to do with how hard you can hit. And he's hit Page some real clean, solid shots, and Page has just kept coming.
That's true.
Remember that Garr has not made the welterweight limit of 147 since June of 1993. Almost 6 years. So if he's lost energy during the fight, it could be because getting down to this weight was a new experience for him.
Okay, listen to me, listen to me. You see that water? You see the big spit bucket?
Louis, get that up. Breathe deep, Sam.
All right, breathe deep. Relax.
Breathe deep. Spit that out.
Relax, Sam. Take your time, Sam. Take your time.
Sammy, you all right, Sammy?
You can come back in the same spot. You come back in the same spot all day long. But you throwing them wild shots, man. Make yourself look bad.
You got to start busting him with combinations. Don't hit
If you
hard.
go on knee in, if you move, come back right there.
Page is like a slugger who doesn't mind missing because he knows that he's going to connect and put some hurt on the thing he's trying to connect with. Some fighters would be embarrassed to be fanning the air so much in a fight of this nature before this kind of a crowd. Page can't be embarrassed. He just keeps coming back and winging.
Scorecard through 9, Harold.
Jim, 8-1, 89-82, James Page. I mean, personally, I just think he's running away with it. It's clean punching. It's effective aggressiveness. It's the hardest shots. That's what's winning the door. Sam Garr has his moments, lands some great right hands every so often, but it's only one at a time. Basically, James Page winning the fight because he's the harder puncher. Time! Neutral.
Come on, baby. The tape
Jeff,
on
come on, let's go.
one
Let's
of the
go.
gloves of Page has come loose.
Let's go. Sometimes a day, guy. All right, let's go. Let's get this tape going. You got a scissors?
No, I got you.
Come on, Jeff. Let's go. Let's go.
Page's
on,
corner
Jeff, help me
taking
out
its
here.
sweet time
He's good.
handling the
Jeff
tape
got it.
problem. No hurry.
You bust the motherfucker with this, will you? All right. Time.
This is round 10. Page has been beyond 10 only one time. That was in the 12-round decision over Lopez. Garr has been as far as 10 only one time. That was in one of his 2 losses to a fighter named Glencoff Johnson. In the past year, Garr's fights have taken him 2-1, 3-2, 5, and 2 rounds. So he's in deep water here as he fires left hooks and tries to mount yet another offense on the 10th.
We might have had a double knockdown if those punches landed.
Look at the stick-to-itiveness of Sam Garr.
He's gotten himself into a position where he's got to fight or run out of that ring, one of the two.
He may not have had an identity coming in here tonight, but he has certainly shown desire, heart, courage, even as he takes a beating from James Page.
And he has some college education there, too, studying to be a pharmacist.
Like Harold Letterman.
Well, you wonder if he was a sparring partner for Vernon Forrest down there in Atlanta, how Vernon Forrest would stack up against someone like Page.
And I expect we're going to find out somewhere down the road, because Vernon is moving into range of some big fights.
Page just can't seem to get 3 punches together.
Right hand lead lands flush again for Garr.
You all right, kid? Suck it up for me. You all right? Okay.
I like what Steve Smoger did there. He sees Garr taking a beating, checked with him to see if he wanted to continue. Here we see Page turning into a southpaw momentarily.
You know, boxing fans have seen Steve Smoger a lot, so I was stunned to learn tonight this is the first time Steve has ever been in Madison Square Garden. Not just the first time he's refereed a fight here, first time he's ever been in the building.
Listen, every time you do something, you hit him. You know what I mean? You take control every time you do something. You got to be the boss in here, all right? Come on, you want to just try to, you got to snatch it, man. You got to go forward, all right, Sam? You can beat this kid. Come on. Come on, look like you went in there. Come on, suck it up. It's your time, all right? Let's do this.
So you heard the game, you sat back and wait.
Sit up, let me fix your thing.
What a time it when we go out this water. Huh?
All right, James, 11.
What a time it.
Don't do something stupid like that. Let him in a fight.
Yeah, all right. Okay, let's go.
6 minutes to go.
All right.
Be smart. Don't be giving him free shots.
Water.
You got to watch this water up.
Come on, come on.
Guys, right there. Second down.
Here it is.
Hey. Okay. Thank you. Is there a doctor in the house? Thank you, sir. I need a doctor.
Round 11 of a scheduled 12. Sam Garr, heavy underdog in the black trunks, apparently trailing world welterweight champion James Page as Page tries to defend his title for the 2nd time. This is the last bout before the main event. Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis will be next.
James Page's mother is his manager. She even walked into the ring with him.
Pam Page, mother of 4. I said, how do you like being a boxing manager? She said, well, I feel like I've been a manager all my life.
Yeah, you start raising some kids.
She's proud of her son's comeback from difficult circumstances, to say the least. Blood streaming from the nose, the mouth, and above the left eye of Sam Garr as he tries to make it to the finish line against the rising thoroughbred Page.
He seems to have taken courage now with a little footwork, using his left foot as the pivot, going back and forward. Guess he said, if it hasn't happened to me, not going to.
Come up, Jimmy. Come up.
Page whacking to the body again with the right hand. And Garr takes the cue to pound to the body himself and beats Page to the punch as he steps inside. Sam Garr, who's never had exposure like this before, has earned another shot or another opportunity to do something off the bravery of his performance here.
Well, he just landed 2 solid right hands on Page. Page must be a little bit tired. I don't think he was expecting to be here at the center stage of Madison Square Garden for a full hour.
Crowd-pleasing fight. A lot of contact.
There's a sign of fatigue as he winds up, throws a haymaker, and backs up 3 paces.
Low blow by Page. Smoger warning him to keep him up. Garr fighting through the bloody mask. Takes a hard right hand. Pays the price for his bravery.
No, fight your dreams.
Okay, last round coming up, son.
Look at those connect percentages. That's a high contact fight.
Get that bucket under him, man.
Easy with the water, guys.
Okay, here. Drink this.
Okay, Sam.
Come on.
My dog.
Come on.
Last one, James. You touch him in the center. Last one.
Here you go. Let's go.
Hands go, baby. All right? Listen, you're doing good. Anytime you start punching, that's when he come back on you. You got to get your stuff off, all right? Get the hands working.
Breathe on. You hurt this guy, then you back off and let him get out of it. Why? Hurry, man, take him out.
I got you. Go out behind me. I got to bring you guys. You go out.
Page. Go ahead, Larry.
Watch your boat, so come on, let's rock now. Come on.
Oh, the referee's voice. I thought it was yours. Page waits at the center of the ring for Garr, and they start round 12. There's the Letterman card as we go into the final round. He sees the issue as having been decided in favor of the champion, Page. Oh, what a right hand by Garr. Stopped Page in his tracks, and sensing an opportunity, Garr presses forward. Another right hand lands flush for Garr. It's not out of the question. Garr getting much the better of Page in the first minute of this round.
That's it.
Garr's a guy that does not depend on a defense, though. He keeps himself wide open. It's like he even expects to get hit.
Well, for the last 2 rounds coming into this one, the fighters have been landing about 70% of their punches. Nobody's missing anymore.
Don't punch.
Good. Okay.
Well, let's give high marks to Sam Garr for stepping up in class, showing himself to be a prize fighter.
Hands up.
Yeah, if Page gets a silver star, Garr certainly gets a Purple Heart for this one.
Page is going in just 1 punch at a time. If I hit you, good. If I miss you, still not throwing more than 1 at a time.
They're both tired. Page probably senses he doesn't have to win the round. So Garr is the one who's risking more and earning more in the 12th.
Well, if Page meant to come to Madison Square Garden and impress everybody that he belonged in a class with Oscar De La Hoya and Felix Trinidad, he has not lived up to that hope.
Well said. Mission not accomplished.
I don't think so. I think the guy's a world-class fighter.
Really, he is.
Yeah, he eased up on this guy earlier in the fight, and you can't change boats in the middle of the stream. That's what caused him the
Well, if
problem.
he beat Lopez, He beat a heck of a fighter. I'm just saying he wanted to make a bigger statement here.
No, he's made a statement.
All right, so you're saying that you do put him in the league with Oscar and Felix.
Yeah, I can't say he can whip him, but he's there. He's jumped over to a tough cookie there.
A pretty doggone good opponent. I don't think anybody here knew that Sam Garr was as good as he's shown in these 12 rounds. Certainly we didn't have a sense of that. Much applause for both fighters.
Big heart. What a heart you have.
Sam Garr gave himself a night to remember for the rest of his life. Took some real punishment. But the hurt will go away and the memory will not.
So they'll go to the scorecards in this WBA World Welterweight Championship fight. Harold?
Jim, 117, 111, 9 rounds to 3. James Page. Jim, I tell you, that Sam Garr showed some heart in rounds 11 to 12. No question he pulled him out. He stunned James Page with those right hands. It's a shame he couldn't knock him down because he stunned him early in the 12th. So you got to give Sam Garr rounds 11 and 12. Certainly you got to give him the 4th. But other than that, James Page on clean punching and effective aggressiveness. Those are the 2 keys.
It'll be interesting to see what the official scorecards say. You're tempted to say that if Garr had a little more punching power, he might have had a chance to pull a major upset here tonight. Again, the connect percentages, Page landing 53% of his punches, throwing 105 more than Garr. Garr landing 49% of his punches, and jabs very similar here. Page connecting at a higher rate. Part of what made the bout look different, part of what created all the blood on Sam Garr's face. Hello to Mom and Dad, I think he said. And a final look at Sam Garr. Let's go to the official decision with Jimmy Lennox Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of boxing here at the world's most famous arena, we have a unanimous decision, and here are the score totals. Our judge at ringside, Don Ackerman, scores about 117 to 111. Judge Gonzalo Rivera scores about 116 to 113. And our judge Luis Rivera scores about 119 to 108. All 3 in favor of the winner. And still WBA welterweight champion of the world, the mighty Quinn James Page.
All right, so form holds in the welterweight title fight. That's the semi-main. Upcoming next, the last event of the evening, heavyweight championship stuff. Let's go back up to our host, James Brown.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. James Page indeed did hold on to his welterweight title, but he fought a very impressive Sam Garr, a young man who just started fighting full-time not too long ago, having given up a job as a landscaper to concentrate on boxing. Hopefully the future looks bright for him. Coming up a little later, in just about 25 minutes, it will be